Well, both the Iraqi military forces and the U.S.-led coalition have acknowledged that there was an airstrike and that there are possibly hundreds of casualties. We're waiting to see what the results of the investigation are. We know that there have been many, many families that have been impacted by this tragedy, and that there are a large number of injured, a large number of deaths. We do not know who is responsible for this airstrike. We understand that an investigation is underway, but we don't know the results of that yet. Well, in the western sections of Mosul city, where the fighting is the most intense right now, many of these areas are very small neighborhoods. There are tiny alleyways. If there is an explosion, it's almost as if there's a blast chamber. So the impact of the explosion is far greater than if the airstrike were to occur in a more open area. In eastern Mosul, many of the areas that were impacted by airstrikes were suburbs. They were wide open areas. That's not the case in western Mosul, and this may account for part of the reason why the impact has been so devastating. There's no question, families in western Mosul right now are at grave, extreme risk. They're at risk from explosive hazards. They're at risk from being caught in crossfire from mortars. We know that families that have been trying to escape the city are often targeted by ISIL. They're shot directly as they're trying to leave. Families who stay are also at risk. If you're a family and you're trying to leave, you're in danger. If you're a family and you're staying, you're in danger. In eastern Mosul, the Iraqi security forces adopted a humanitarian concept of operations, which puts civilian protection at the center of their battle plan. They said to civilians, we'll do everything we can to protect you in your homes. If we can't protect you, we'll help you to move across safely the front line and get into an IDP camp where the United Nations and the government can provide you with safety and with support. 550,000 civilians stayed in eastern Mosul. There was very limited damage. There was damage, but it was far less than we had originally expected. In the case of western Mosul, we're seeing that hundreds of thousands of civilians are fleeing. They're not staying in their homes. They're leaving the city. Right now, probably close to 200,000 people have left western Mosul, and we expect in the days, the weeks ahead, that another 300,000, maybe even 350,000 more people may leave the city. The fighting has just entered the densely populated Old City. There are 400,000 people there. We're extremely worried about what's going to happen to them. You know, the main supply line into western Mosul has been cut since mid-November. That means that foodstuffs and medicines and other things that you need in order to survive haven't been entering that part of the city for months and months. Many of the families that are escaping right now are in bad condition. Many of them haven't had access to food or to safe drinking water. Electricity's been cut. They're in bad shape. And we expect that as the fighting continues, that the conditions of those families is going to deteriorate further.